Hey guys, this is chapter 11a, in which Kazul is unwell and Kimarine makes a new acquaintance. Alienor decided to return home by way of the path outside instead of through the tunnels because it was such a nice day and she hoped the sun would dry her skirt. Kimarine watched her go, swinging her basket happily and humming a little, her confidence and good humor completely restored. I wish I had as little to worry about, Kimarine muttered, thinking of Warog and the wizards. She held the burned patch at the end of her sleeve up to get a better look at it in the sunlight and shook her head. Even the magic wardrobe would have a hard time fixing that. A puff of wind made her shiver in her wet clothes, and she turned to go back into the cave to change. A dark shadow fell over Kimarine, and she stopped and looked up. "Kazul!" she said as the dragon landed on the open path beside her. "Am I glad to see you? Wait, until you hear what's been happening. You do appear to have a rather strenuous day," Kazul said, eyeing Kimarine's wet, stained skirt and the blackened end of her right sleeve. "Nothing serious, I trust?" "I'm not sure," Kimarine said. "Alienor and I went out to pick some feverfew and we ran into that wizard Antrel." "Where was this?" Kimarine pointed. "Up that way. There's a little rounded valley off to one side that looks as if dragons never go there, and..." "You found a wizard there?" Kazul sounded deeply disturbed. "How did he get in? How did you get in?" "We climbed through a crack in a boulder," Kimarine said. "I don't know how Antrel did it. When he left, he was heading for the far side of the valley." "This is serious," Kazul said. "I'd better warn the king. He'll have to use the crystal now." "You'd better hear the rest of it first," Kimarine said. "Antrel wasn't too happy to see us, but when he found out that Alienor was Warog's princess, he relaxed. He seemed to think that Warog had sent us." "What?" Kimarine's involuntary stepped back a pace at the anger in Kazul's voice. "He thought Warog had sent us?" she repeated, and gave a quick summary. "Warog!" Kazul's tail lashed, sweeping a small boulder from one side of the path to the other. "But Warog's not a fool, and only a fool would let a wizard into that valley, unless he was sure that they didn't know." "What was Antrel doing?" Sorry, I gotta turn the page. "Cutting plants," Kimarine said, or rather cutting a plant. It didn't look as if he took more than one. He wouldn't need more than one if it was the right one. "Ooh," Kazul said tensely. "What did he pick?" "It was a prickly-looking purple thing with sawed edges on the leaves. I didn't recognize it, but I thought you might, so I brought a piece back for you to look." "What?" Kazul roared. Flames spurted from the dragon's mouth, enveloping Kimarine. Steam hissed from her wet skirt, and the thinner material of her sleeves vanished in a crackle of sparks. The handkerchief-wrapped spray of purple leaves, which she had just taken out of her pocket to show Kazul, disintegrated into a dark, greasy-looking cloud of smoke. Kimarine stared at the ashes in her palm, feeling very, very glad that she had decided to test the way fresh feverfew would work in the fireproof spell. She felt a little warm and her clothes had been reduced to a few charred rags, but that was nothing compared to what could have happened. "Now I understand why Alienor ran out of feverfew," she muttered. A puff of wind brushed Kimarine's arm, and she heard a choking sound from Kazul. She looked up, expecting to find the dragon laughing at her remark. Kazul's head was thrown back and her mouth was wide open, giving Kimarine an excellent view of the dragon's sharp silver teeth and long red tongue. Kimarine skipped back out of reach. "Kazul, what's the matter?" The dragon appeared to be gasping for air. "The smoke," Kazul coughed. Her voice was so hoarse that it was hard for Kimarine to understand what she was saying. "What can I do?" Kimarine said, trying not to feel frightened. "Green jar, shelf in last treasure room," Kazul. "Hurry! Please hurry!" Kimarine was already running through the mouth of the cave as fast as her feet could carry. She did not even pause. She snatched up her lamp from the floor just inside the door. It seemed to take forever to get through the twisty passages, the first two caves full of treasure. She skidded to a halt in the doorway of the third room and stood panting, scanning the walls for the shelf. The sound of Kazul's coughing grew louder as Kimarine sped back the way she had come. At the mouth of the cave, Kimarine paused and set down the lamp, then unscrewed the top of the green jar. Inside was a thick emerald-colored liquid, about the consistency of honey. She looked out at Kazul. The dragon's head jerked with each cough, and the scales on her neck were beginning to turn pink. For a long, careful moment, Kimarine studied Kazul's movement. Then she leaned back and threw the and threw the emerald liquid jar and all into the dragon's open mouth, just as Kazul took another gasping breath. The jar landed on Kazul's tongue. The dragon's mouth closed, and she swallowed convulsively. Sudden silence. "Are you all right now?" Kimmerine asked after Kazul had taken several deep breaths with a renewed bout of coughing. "I will be," Kazul said, sounding exhausted. "What happened?" Kimmerine asked. "I got a breath of the smoke when that plant in your hand burned," Kazul said. "Luckily, it was only a breath. I'll need a few days of rest, but that's better than being dead." Kimmerine stared at her, appalled. "What was that plant?" "Dragonsbane," said Kazul. Her eyes closed, and she slept. Okay, now I want you to think about why Aunt Terrell would be trying to get some Dragonsbane and how Zeminar is all connected with us. Okay? We'll start up tomorrow, sweeties. Have a great day.